Clearly, we are traveling for this week's show, but that didn't stop us. That's right. We have two-time Bassmaster Classic qualifier, former collegiate champion, and the newest Bassmaster Elite Series champion, Jacob Foutz, joins me this week. Oh.
I'm Bob Cobb from the Bassmaster. Welcome to Mercer.
Whoa. We now interrupt this broadcast to bring you somewhere else. Obviously, I'm the weirdo now walking through the airport, talking to you guys. But this show that we thought was done got a whole lot bigger because of Tuesday Night Live. First of all, how many of you watched? It was pretty incredible. And hey, I'm going to go down. Look what I'm doing here. It's a pro move. I'm going down the only quiet hall in the Chicago airport. I'm going to find myself a little corner. We're going to have a little chat. Tuesday Night Live was an incredible success. I mean, was there some technical issues? Yeah, way too many technical issues. But it was, you guys let me know what you thought. I think it was pretty incredible, and I thought it was so incredible that even though we already had a podcast shot, I said, I got to get with the tournament champions, Iaconelli and Drew Benton. Sat down with them really quickly. We literally shot this right after they won. And pretty cool conversation, pretty cool event. Kudos to all of the people that made that event happen. All of the amazing sponsors and the visionary of the event, Mike Valster. It was cool event, a fun time. Getting to do it with Zona was a blast. And it's something that I hope we do a bunch more of in the future. But so that's why this podcast goes in a weird direction. We go from having what looks like a green screen background to, the Chicago airport, because I'm on my way home. So here's what's going to happen. We're going to go right back to that green screen looking thing. You're going to see the open of the show. We're going to do a great interview with Foutz that we shot right after he won. Then you'll see the interview with Ike and Benton. And then it'll all wrap up and it'll be like a normal podcast. But I wanted to make sure I got that to you guys because, you are fine humpers. So now we return to the regular podcast, and I return to my goal, which is catching my next flight. Let me know what you thought of Tuesday Night Live. If you ask me, it was pretty freaking awesome. Welcome on, welcome all, friends, family, freeloaders, fishing freaks, and of course you, my humpers. Happy hump day to all of you, and welcome into the Awkwardly Honest Fishing Podcast that goes by my last name, which is Mercer. This is the 259th edition of the Mercer Podcast. I hope wherever you're watching or listening from, that life is treating you well. And if you look over my shoulder, you can clearly see that life is treating me very, very well here this week. On the road, not in the studio, on Table Rock Lake. And I would say this is a pretty good backdrop. Whenever your backdrop looks like it's a green screen, you know you're having a good week. And speaking of a good week, we had a big week last week in the Arkansas River, and we happened to have last week's champion, Jacob Foutz, on the show. Jacob Foutz is going to, we wouldn't let him leave the area until we got a word from him, because while we were traveling, we couldn't do a mobile show. Zona, I'm trying to make a podcast here, bro. This is the guy I'm working with this weekend. We're podding.
No doubt about it. Trending, and use your hashtags, and don't be scared to mash that button, like and subscribe.
Well, come back. You can't tell me about Foutz's victory. Break it down. We're going to talk to him on the show.
In all honesty, it's weird. Jacob's I don't even know what the word polarizing means, but for really the last 3 years, he has been that whacked out video that he did. And I talked to him about it. I said this on Bassmaster Live. It was an interesting video and I respected it, but also at the same time, he said, do you have any, this was after he posted that video. He said, do you have any advice for me? And I said, dude, I'm going to make it very simplistic. Catch them, period. Everything will solve itself if you're a professional bass fisherman. And at the time, he was not really catching them. Life will get a lot better if you put the ball in the end zone. If you play football, you put the ball in the cup. If you play golf. Since then, what's funny is besides last year, a little bit of a hiccup, he's done that and his life has become a lot better. From the fishing aspect, I still don't understand how he ran to the pool. He went there, dude. There are some tournaments that you're supposed to win. And he was supposed to win that. He went to an area that's very, very well known. The conditions set up for them, quote, you hear this BS a lot covering Bassmaster for the last ever, is, hey, they're coming to me. No, they were coming to him. Just enough of them came to him. Last day was a little bit sketchy, but they were a lot of pre-spawn / spawning fish. And the other side of that was nobody else was in there. Like I said, it was a very well-known area. It was the perfect storm. The other, from the actual human standpoint of it, we talked about it yesterday when you and I were playing hooky, not working, and we went fishing, is, dude, Jason's our friend, and he's a big fan favorite. You want to see different guys win, but it would have been badass if Jason won that tournament going back to back. But somewhere in your soul, Jacob Foutz is a good dude. He's not a POS. Somewhere in there, you wanted him to win that tournament because I believe this. He belongs as a professional fisherman. He belongs on the Elite Series. He proved it.
It was great stuff, C.
Yeah. I'll hit you on that day rate in a little bit because we're kind of doing double. We have other things to do right now.
We do. Yes.
Well, you got a good tan.
Yes.
Part of the Coco Nation. Good job.
Yesterday I asked Zona, I said, before we go in the water, should we stop and get some sunblock? And what'd you say, Z?
No, you'll be fine.
I was not fine. But this podcast is fine. And I hope you enjoy it. I hijacked Jacob Foutz before he left the actual venue and sat down and talked to him. And let's enjoy that now. Jacob Foutz, your newest Bassmaster Elite Series champion, coming up in, count it down, Z, 3
and 1.
Foutz, this is tournament fishing, dude. Just me and you, all alone in a parking lot now. Venue's getting torn down, but for the rest of your life, you're a freaking Elite Series champion. How does that feel?
Dude, it's truly unbelievable, really. It's I don't think I'll ever take this for granted. It's been a lifelong dream since I was about 6 years old. All I ever wanted to do was catch bass. And to be at this level and compete against these guys and to be able to say you beat them for 4 days is truly, it's unbelievable.
When did you first think, there's a shot I can get this one done?
I figured after I caught 20 pounds yesterday that it was as good a chance as maybe I'll ever have. You never know. I caught 3 big ones off the same bed, and it's like, it doesn't happen very often. It's just kind of like it's felt kind of meant to be, but you try not to get ahead of yourself and think that way. You just kind of try to stay in the moment and fish, but things start happening. You're like, man, this stuff doesn't happen every week. And, it's just like the big one I caught today. Just a random flip out there in the middle of this gravel pit, 6-pounder.
So after pre-fish, what were you thinking? Hey, I can do well here, or were we in survival mode? What did you go into this event thinking?
No, dude, I was just kind of in survival mode, just try to get out of here with the top 50 and good points, and try to move on to the next one. Because this is an event you circle at the beginning of the year, like, okay, let's just get out of here with decent finish. Let's not have a bomb. And I didn't have a really great practice. I got some bites in some areas, but I figured other guys found them, and I was like, I'm just going to try to grind and catch 14 pounds a day and get on to the next one.
So how many tournaments in your life have you gone into feeling like you could win?
I mean, very few. Any of these guys that tell you they've been in a bunch of tournaments, I thought they could win, they're lying to you. It always seems like the tournaments you have give yourself a chance to win, you kind of didn't expect it. It seems like. I mean, it's not always the case. Sometimes you have a good practice and it ends up in a good tournament, but a lot of times you have a average practice and it ends up being a special week.
It was a special week. I mean, you did something I had a cool moment on Bass Live, and you probably don't get to see this.
I saw the picture.
What
Kyle Jesse showed me.
Oh, which picture of which?
About 18-year-old me with no facial hair.
Well, not just that. I mean, yeah, we did have that picture, and you were the paper boy, and now you are the freaking paper boy.
That's right.
But the moment that stood out was Wes Logan was on the set, and everybody was pretty amazed at the area you fished and how you were able to find something different. That water a little cooler and obviously set up. And Wes had said it was cool to see him put it together on set. And he said, I knew about that area and I talked to someone about that area and they said the water temperature was like 55 degrees. And I'm like, oh, I won't go there. But you thought about it different. Obviously that put the fish back a little bit, but it was cool to see Wes put that together. But when did you put that together, or was that throughout the event?
It just kind of happened throughout the event. When I fished through there in practice, I really didn't even pay attention to the water temp. When I was idling out that evening, I noticed, I'm like, dang, this water's really cool in here for some reason. Obviously, it's coming out of the bottom of 10 killer. That's why it's so cold. But when I fished through that area, I didn't see any. It was kind of dark. Getting late in the evening. I didn't see any spawning. I just got 7 or 8 bites. And then, I go in there the first morning, catch like 12 or 13 pounds. I left and came back at like 1 o'clock. And I'm like, oh, there's one laying on a bed right there. There's another one. There's another one. And I'm like, oh, okay, I see what's happening now. I said, these fish are further behind than everywhere else because this water's so cold. They're just now starting their deal where everywhere else it seemed like they were kind of finishing up. A lot of them were done. So it just kind of happened as the tournament went on.
You brought up that picture from Bass Live of the paper boy. How different are you today than you were then?
Oh, I'm way different. Mentally, I'm a lot different. I try not to get rattled by too much. When back in those days, bad practice, I was cooked. I wasn't going to catch them. Now it's just kind of like, okay, whatever. I mean, growing as a man and gotten older and been out here for what feels like a long time. When I started, I was like one of the youngest. Now I feel like I'm old.
27-year-old and old.
I feel old out here. I feel like I'm one of the older Elite Series guys. All these young kids coming in and make you feel old. It's crazy.
You, to watch your progression, it hasn't been easy for you. I mean, you've had so many big moments where it's like, oh, here is his coming out party. Did you ever question it along the way?
Dude, I've questioned it so many times. There was times where I didn't know if I belonged out here. And then you turn around and get on a good run. You're like, man, I'm pretty good. And then it all comes crashing back down. You're like, man, I don't know. And then, anyone tells you fishing for a living is super easy. They're lying to you. This is a hard way to make a living. These guys make you earn it. And you can't struggle out here. It's, you're going to put yourself in a bad spot mentally. You start struggling for too long and you just start questioning everything. And, there was at the end of my second year, I was like fringe even getting invited back. I was on the outside looking in. I had 3 events to turn it around and it went top 10. And then I cut to salvage my career and then, went on a pretty good run in 24 and had a not so great year last year. But because of the previous bad years, last year I didn't feel like I ever fished bad or was making bad decisions. It was just, fish coming off and stuff like that. And that's stuff you can't let bother you because that stuff is going to happen if you fish long enough. And, you try not to string a bunch of bad tournaments together, but, it happens out here. You see all these guys that are legends. It happens to all of them. It's just the ebbs and flows of professional bass fishing.
You haven't even had a chance to go through texts or anything. This is pretty fresh, so I don't even know if you can answer this, but what does this victory tell you?
I've got a lot more people behind me than I thought. I think I checked my phone a minute ago. I had like 170 text messages, and I'm like, I don't even think I have 170 contacts in my phone. So, I mean, it's, just, proved that I can do this out here. And, like I said, I've got the best support. My family's done everything throughout my whole life to help me chase this dream and have kept me afloat at times to allow me to keep doing this. There were several times I've been down to my last dollar and it was either catch them or you're done. So, I've said it a bunch. Pressure is a privilege. Anytime I've ever been in a bad spot, I've always was able to have my best events and, kind of keep telling yourself that, you belong here and you can do this. Don't ever give up on your dreams just, because it gets hard, and no one ever said it was going to be easy. Everyone has hard times, and you can't let it drag you down. You got to fight back. And, that's what I've been able to do.
Today's high-tech fishing world can be a real pain in the neck, especially if you're running the wrong mount. Beat Down Outdoors, they bring the graph to you. And they support this podcast and care enough about you to make this a short ad read. Check out Beat Down Outdoors. Now back to the show.
We talked about it when it happened. We did a podcast about it. I think the first podcast you did after that, and you've done a bunch talking about it. But that video, while some people wanted to kind of turn their nose up at it, me and you've kind of joked it was kind of marketing genius, really. I mean, you were not getting a lot of traction. Now everybody knows who you are. Like, when you look back at that video now, regardless of this win, you look back at it as a smart move, a mistake. Would you have done anything different?
No, I tell people all the time that was the best thing I ever did for me personally, for several reasons. It kind of gave me a name for myself. People knew who I was, but I wasn't trying to come across as a whiner or complainer. That wasn't the point of it. I know some people wanted to say that's what it was, but that wasn't the point of the video. I was just really trying to say this is hard, and I think at times we don't show that side of the sport to people. And I think some people might have a realistic expectations. It really was just to try to give people a realistic expectation of what it is out here. It's not always sunshine and flowers. There's hard times just like anything else. And, it all comes back full circle. You stick with it. Things start happening. You learn as you go along. And like I said, it was the best thing I ever did.
It definitely put your name on the radar. And would you explain this victory as kind of an explanation point to the end of that video?
This is a huge explanation point. Everyone that doubted me and said I'd never make it, and there's a trophy that says I can, so they can all kick rocks.
What you did, the way you won this tournament, I haven't been on the internet, but I know how the internet works. I'm pretty sure by the time this podcast airs, there will be other videos about the way you fished. What do you think about the way you fished?
If they don't like it, they can kick rocks. I mean, I know that people are going to say, well, we just caught him with perspective and used his electronics. And I caught very few fish doing that. In the grand scheme of things, I weighed maybe 5 or 6 fish total of my 20. The rest of them I caught just fishing down the bank, seeing them with my eyes. So people can say whatever they want. They're going to say whatever they want regardless. They can think whatever they want to think. They don't have to like it. They don't have to, whatever it is. They are entitled to their opinion. But at the end of the day, everyone's got opinions, and just like buttholes, they all stink.
I think that's a weird lesson that I feel like I'm lucky to see kind of happen with people. And it's a shitty lesson about life, but I feel like if you chase your dreams in today's world, it's not going to be what you think as a kid. You think, oh, well, I'm going to chase my dreams and everyone's going to be excited for me and they're going to cheer. But part of the evolution is you're going to get some darts thrown at you.
Absolutely. You're going to, it seems like the more success you have, the more haters you acquire, the more fans you acquire. So it's, there's a give and take to that. And it is what it is. And if you have haters, you're obviously doing something right, in my opinion.
You were tested today, dude. I mean, just when this thought, like to go into today, but basically a 7-pound lead. You told me in the interview this morning that I'm feeling remarkably calm. I talked to your roommate. He said, I don't know how calm he was. How calm were you really? Like, what is the night before an Elite Series Championship Sunday with a 7-pound lead?
I was calm, but, if anyone tells you they weren't totally not nervous, they're absolutely lying to you. There was nerves. I was anxious. Obviously, the 7-pound lead, you don't want to blow that. That stings if you blow that. And there were times that I felt like I was feel it slipping a little bit. I'm like, come on, stick with it. And I got to a point, I'm like, okay, if I catch one big one here, I probably seal the deal. And, when it's your time to win, it'll happen. It just felt like it was going to happen. Like I tried not to spin out. Your wheels start to spin a little bit as time starts ticking down. But I just stuck with it. And then right before I had to lock back through, 6-pounder. I'm like, okay, it's probably a ball game.
How do you, as a competitor, how do you try not to spin out? Like on the outside, you look like, hey, everybody kept commenting like, look how calm he looks. He's not rushing. He's not, but in your head, I'm sure there must be games that you guys play. Like, how do you try to not spin out?
Well, the first thing you do is don't watch the clock. Because once you start watching that clock, it seems like as you start to spin, that clock starts going 3 times fast, 4 times fast. You're like, oh my gosh, time's running out. And it's really hard to just try not, don't pay attention, just keep doing what you're doing. The best to just trust what you're doing. And like I said, if it's going to happen, it'll happen. And if not, wasn't your week. You know what I mean? Like that's the biggest lesson I've tried to teach myself, and something I try to do. Just stick with it. If it's going to happen, it'll happen. Just try to put yourself in the best position possible for it to happen. And sometimes it happens, and sometimes it doesn't. It's just something you got to live with. Whichever way it works out, good or bad. And there's always something to learn, whether you win or doesn't go your way. There's always something to learn. So.
Were you willing to accept, if we're in a different situation, you're on the road, you got a second or third place, were you really willing to accept that? Or when you left, would this have been one that you felt you let slip?
It would have pissed me off for a long time. Anyone tells you, wouldn't it, that they're lying. I would have accepted it eventually. I just kept telling myself, if it's going to happen, it'll happen. If not, you're going to be mad about it. You're going to be upset. It's going to be a knife right through the back. And, you're kind of asking why it wasn't at my time. But, it's part of the game, unfortunately. Sometimes you think you got it and it doesn't go your way. But when it does, there's no feeling like it.
Is it almost addictive, this feeling? Because when you look at pro fishing from the outside, and I get it, I remember years ago, and it was nothing like this, but when I won my first, what I considered a big tournament at the time, I remember being in a situation like this. You do some media and you're like, you were just in front of a crowd and a lineup of kids taking your pictures and your autograph. And then you ended up in a parking lot. And we're going to be done here in a few minutes. You're going to be all by yourself. But in my experience, I went through all that. I remember I got in my truck and I had the trophy beside me, and a Van Halen song came on that said, "Standing on top of the world for a little while." It's an evil, evil sport. Like in the way that you can play almost anything else and you're going to win more than you win at this. Why do you chase something that is, seemingly impossible at times?
When you get to the crest of that mountain, is the best feeling in the world. Like you chase it, it happens. It's great for a couple of days and it wears off, but then you want it even more for the next time. So if you let it, it'll let you push you harder to try to get that feeling again. Like I said, it's euphoria, really. Like you can't describe it. I wish everyone could feel this. Like it's truly incredible. So now, like I said, eventually it wears off, just like anything. So it just pushes you harder to try to get there again.
How do you get over the tough ones? When you said if this one didn't happen for you, you'd be pretty pissed off. How do you get, what do you do? What is your therapy?
Go fishing. I just go back bass fishing. And that's always worked for me. Fishing's always kind of been my therapy, whether it hurt me or was good to me. Just get back fishing, and eventually, by the time the next one rolls around, you kind of lock into that one and kind of move past it. At least that's the way I look at it. I just try to go back bass fishing and try to kill a turkey or do the things you love, and at the end of the day, it's life, dude. You woke up today, it's not all that bad. It sucks. If it didn't get it sight, it would suck. It would hurt bad. But you can't let it linger for a long time. Otherwise, it'll hurt your performance because that's all you'll think about.
Remove the competition side of it. You know, obviously, if I ask you what you love about fishing, I mean, you loved what you experienced today. But what, at the core of it, why do you love, if somebody that's never fished before looked at you and said, but why do you love this? Why do you love bass fishing? What does it give you?
It's just a challenge. Every day is a new challenge. Every day is different. You're trying to trick a creature that has a brain as well. And, you know, at times it makes you feel really, really dumb. And other times you feel like an absolute genius. It's like a drug, really. Like feeling a bass hit your bait or pull back on your line. There's nothing like it.
Were you meant to do this?
I feel like I was meant to do this. This is all I've ever wanted to do. Everything I've ever done has always come back to bass fishing and chasing bass. It's hard to say if you're meant to do this. I feel like it. I feel like that's some kind of sign that says maybe you're meant to do this. I don't know. I try not to think about it like that. Like I said, I just love catching bass, and you know, bass fishing has opened a lot of opportunities for me in my life to be able to chase them all across the country and do it for a living. So, you know, I guess I'm meant to do this, but do you ever really truly know?
Nah. Or do you think if it wasn't for this, what would you be doing?
I don't know.
Lost.
I'd be wandering around in the woods homeless, probably.
You talked about wanting this since you were 5 years old. If we had the ability to have that 5-year-old kid, to have a conversation with that 5-year-old kid right now, what would you tell them?
Keep chasing your dreams, kid. Don't ever give up. There'll be hard times. There'll be good times. Just, you know, don't ever quit chasing your dreams, regardless. However that works out. Everyone's path in life is different, but you know, don't ever give up on your dreams. Keep chasing them, because that's always a joy you can come back to in whatever level that is, whether it's playing baseball or playing hockey, whether it's, you know, wanting to be an engineer, whatever it is. Keep chasing your dreams, man. That's what keeps me going day after day, is trying to catch bass. And, you know, like I said, for some people it's something totally different, but don't ever give it up.
If that 5-year-old kid could see you right now, what do you think that 5-year-old kid says of you sitting here right now with that?
That kid's eyes would be about that big around. That's all he'd want to do. It's the greatest thing in the world. Really, truly it is. It's bass fishing is so awesome. And, you know, the opportunities that Bassmaster gives guys like me to do this for a living and to feel these feelings, that kid would be so proud.
And with good reason. You, as I said, you were challenged today, but when you did catch that kicker fish at the end of the day, I mean, we kind of joked about it on FS1, and I said, you know, I thought the NFL was the only one who had a script, but it turns out obviously bass fishing does. You did do your job to make it exciting, but what was that moment like for you to put your hands on that fish, and like, what is that like to experience that?
It felt like the weight of the world coming off my shoulder. That, like I said, time was starting to tick down. I could feel that monkey around my back starting to get on my neck. Don't let it slip away. Don't let it slip away. And I just stuck with it. And, you know, I got that bite and jumped right next to the boat. And I went, oh my gosh, this is it. Please don't mess this up. I saw it so good, flipped to the boat, and just like the greatest joy you could feel in your whole life. Like every emotion you could ever have starts going through your body. I think I cried about 4 times after that. It just felt like okay, that was the one.
Avco not only makes incredible outdoor clothing, but they care about anglers with their 10% pledge. Avco and the Shed family donate at least 10% of the company's profits to conservation and making fishing better. Now back to the show.
I don't know about you, but I feel like it's natural to, when you're dreaming this on the way up, to imagine that moment, to almost even act out that. I'm man enough to admit, like I've visualized myself in that position and different, like, does it compare? Or is it the same, better, different?
It's way better than you could ever imagine. You can reenact it and dream about it, think about it all you want. I mean, I dreamed of this for thousands and thousands and thousands of times, just wondering what this would feel like, and it'll never compare to what it really feels like. It's the best feeling in the world.
What part do you dream about? Do you dream about catching the fish? Do you dream about holding the trophy on stage? Combination of all of that. What part is the dream for you?
You dream about all of it. Yeah, you want the big fish moment where that kind of seals the deal. You want your moment on stage holding the trophy. It's a combination of all of it, dude. I mean, it all makes it feel that much better.
As a competitor, we've heard a bunch of different people, Rick Clunn talks about visualizing and stuff like that. Do you get into any of that? Do you visualize moments like this?
Yes and no. I mean, you try to visualize it, but at the same time, I try to take it as the day kind of comes to you, or as the moment comes to you. I just let it come to me, and however I feel, I kind of let my emotions show. I'm generally a fairly quiet person, kind of just working in the weeds, just waiting to have a moment like this. But you visualize it a little bit, but at least for me, it only feels like that only goes so far. Like, just take it as it comes to you.
Do you feel being a quiet person, not being this outward person, do you feel that's a disadvantage in this line of work?
Yeah, I can. It can definitely be a disadvantage, but it's also, I try to stay true to me as a person. I'm not going to be someone I'm not just to make someone else like me or not like me. You can either like me for who I am or not. I mean, feels like you would like to be outspoken in this industry and be the guy that wants to talk for 75 minutes to each and every person you see, but that's just not who I am. But so, I think it definitely has its disadvantages. But like I said, I'm always just going to be me, and you can either like me for that or not like me for it. It is what it is.
You're good with that.
I'm fine with that.
I think I think you've heard me speak at enough things where I'm like, be who you are, and you are who you are. And that video showed a lot of people who you are, and some people were taken back by it. But I think that was also, in some ways, I look at it and I've explained to people, it was a bit of a marketing move, but it was also kind of a therapy for you to be like, hey, this shit's not easy. And I'm giving it everything I have, so much so that I'm going to put myself in an uncomfortable position.
Yeah, for sure. There were several reasons I made the video. One was just it was a marketing ploy, but at the same time, it was just me getting a bunch of things off my chest that I felt like I just felt like I needed to share. It felt right to say it. I always want people to have realistic expectations. I don't want them to be let down by what the sport is, or what they thought it was. Because if you have realistic expectations of what something is, you tend not to be disappointed when you get to whatever level it is, and you generally tend to do better at whatever that is. At least I think so. My opinion ain't worth a whole lot, but that's what I think.
Your opinion's worth lots, and why it's worth lots is because you're honest and you're real to who you are. Do you think in some ways, it's funny because like you said, you're 27 and you feel old, but for me to call you the paper boy because you stood out and were so young almost feels foolish just these few years later, because there's so many people that are showing up at that young age. But in some ways, do you think what you thought of the sport was different?
It was. Yes, it was different, but there was, obviously what you thought, it is that too. Don't get me wrong. Like, there's all the good stuff you see, it's all there, but there's also hard stuff and, things you didn't see coming, all the industry side of the stuff from sponsors or whatever it is. I I didn't know what to expect. I was just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, 22 years old when I came. I was just happy to be here, dude. I was fishing the Bassmaster Elite Series, 22 years old. I'm one of the youngest guys out here. That's great. And then as reality starts to set in after you get a year in, 2 years in, you're like, I need to do something here because this ain't what I thought it was. But it's, I don't want to sound like it's all bad. It's not all bad. There's very much fewer bad than there is good. There's more good in this sport than anything. So, I mean, don't let it push you away. There's, social media wants to show you all the bad stuff now, and you see it all the time with the FFS stuff and this, that, and the other. And it's, dude, at the end of the day, it's bass fishing. We all started this for the same reason, because we like catching bass. Just go catch bass and have fun. That's what it comes down to at the end of the day. If you do that, the rest of the stuff isn't all that bad.
And if more people did that, I think people would be a little happier. I mean, I've yet to see somebody catch a fish and be like, yeah, that sucked.
You won't ever hear a single human. I caught a bass, and it was the worst thing I ever experienced. They're hooked. Everyone. They love it.
What motivates you?
Just trying to be the best angler I can be. I try not to compare myself to anyone else. Everyone has their own path and has their own career, good, bad, or in the middle. And so I always just try to be better than I was the day previous. I mean, if you can do that and, do the best you can, you'll see how you stack up. And, whether you need to work harder or, okay, I'm right there, let me just work a little harder and I'll be right there. So that's what motivates me, just trying to be a little bit better than I was the day before.
For a 27-year-old, that's pretty good perspective. I mean, I don't think most 27-year-olds look at things like that. But it's real easy to, I think social media is a bit of a bad drug that way too, because you just see all of the highlights and you don't see any of the tough parts. And I think also what you've went through or gone through or going through is kind of natural in the way that, like, I talked to friends who went on to play professional sports and they played D1 and then they showed up to whatever their particular sport is and they're like, wait a second, these pros, this is no joke. Like, there's that split second that I had in D1, it disappeared. It just got tighter. And that's the Elite Series. I mean, what you're trying to do is not easy. You're trying to be one of the best at something in the world.
Yeah, dude, it's hard. These guys are as good as it comes. They'll beat your brains in every day of the week if you let them. And you're always trying to get better, trying to keep up. Because, we've seen the sport get younger and younger over the last several years. And these kids are so good. But they push all of us to get better, right? So it's like, I think you see on social media some people, I don't know if it's jealousy that these kids are so good, but they're just constantly hating on them for this, that, or the other. And it's, why are you doing that? These kids are good. They just took advantage of whatever they had, and they've worked really hard at it. They didn't get here by a piece of technology or anything else. These kids are all good. All these guys are good. Doesn't matter how they like to fish. They're all good. They'll beat your brakes out with a spinning rod and a drop shot, or a crankbait and a jig. It don't matter. They're all good.
Do you think the fact that it's hard, does that make it appealing to you? Do you like harder things?
Oh, I certainly like a challenge. It's no fun if it's easy, right? It's like if you went deer hunting and shot a deer every time, it wouldn't be nearly as fun, would it? Not to me. The challenge and the failure is what keeps you coming back. For the times you are successful, and then you go a while and you don't kill a deer, you don't catch any bass, you go, oh man, I really would like to have a day like I had 2 weeks ago. You know what I mean? The challenge always brings you back. That's what makes anything fun. That's what, at least to me, that's what makes it fun, the challenge.
Well, you overcame a lot in this sport, and me and you talked backstage as soon as you won. And I mean, there's every victory special. I'm thankful to be on the stage with you guys. And I always say it's the greatest part of my job. It's the toughest part of my job. I'm this far away from you at some of your best moments of your life, but I'm also this far away from you during crushing defeats and things like that. But you've worked incredibly hard to get to where you are. Where do you see yourself in 10 years? Like if you could, I mean, obviously you can't just, now you can't just say this is where I'm going to be, but if everything goes your way, where are you in 10 years?
I mean, ideally I'll have a bunch more of these blue trophies and I'll still be here competing against these guys. But like you're saying, you never know, dude. You try to take it day by day. And I'm thankful every day I get to come out here and compete and be on the Bassmaster Elite Series. It's, like I said, it's a childhood dream to be out here. I'll never take it for granted out here. So, I'm not looking ahead that far, man. Anything could happen from now and 10 years from now. You just try to take it day by day and just be thankful for what's happened or, where you are or whatever it is. So
every day is a gift and pressure is a privilege. I love that. You use that line a lot. And I love that because there's so many people that they don't look at it as a privilege. Were you ever one of those people? Did that change in you or has that kind of been installed in you since youth?
It's always something I've kind of thought and believed, like, if there's no pressure, it's no fun. That's what you can either you can either wilt from the pressure or you can blossom and bloom from the pressure. A lot of people let it take them down. Like the moment gets too big for them, it's just too much for them to handle. And, at the end of the day, be thankful that you're there and you get to experience that. That's what it's all about.
Competing, you never played small ball in this one. With those betting fish, even today, when, you went a while before you got a limit of fish. Did you ever think I'm going to pull out a finesse worm or something like that? I mean, you kind of rode with two main weapons. Why was that?
Just what got me here. I didn't feel like I needed to change. If I'm ever in this position again, maybe I will feel the need to change, but it never felt like that's what I needed to do. I just kind of went with what felt good and worked out.
I've run a Yamaha outboard for over 30 years. It has got me home safe each and every time. If you enjoy this podcast, remember, Yamaha supports it and they care enough about you to make this ad read very short. Now back to the show.
One of my favorite things about you is there's a bunch of little things about you that people don't realize. Like I guess I'm just awkward enough that I ask. If a few years ago, you had two different colored power poles on your boat. And I remember people saying, that's kind of weird how he's got those. And I asked you about those, and those were for your grandmother. They were a tribute to your grandmother. You think different. You act different. And that, I think that's something the world needs to celebrate because, everybody is freaking different. But you weren't vocal like a lot of people would have put her name on them. You didn't, you know what I mean? It was a tribute that mattered to you. Why were you not as vocal with that?
I don't care what people think. People can think whatever they think. If they felt like they wanted to ask me, I'd tell them. If not, I don't care what you think. You wanted to call me this, that, or the other. I don't care. I don't care what people think. I try to be a straight shooter. You ask me, I'll tell you. But I'm not going to go parading around trying to prove, well, this is what this is for. Don't think of me this way. I don't care.
You do care about your grandmother, though. And you did. You took that winning moment. And I think, first of all, before we get into your grandmother, your reaction, I think you woke the sleepy assassin. That moment when, I think you were in a unique situation where you knew rolling up, I'm about to win a bass tournament. You weren't nervous. You knew you had plenty. I think you won the tournament by 7 pounds. I haven't even looked. That's how new this interview is. I literally haven't even looked back at it. But you won the tournament. You decimated the field. But that moment when you're like, boom, it's happened. You erupted on stage. What did that feel like?
Oh, it felt amazing. I didn't know how I was going to react. I didn't know if I was going to start crying or sobbing or shout at the top of my lungs. I didn't know what was going to happen. It just kind of came out. I didn't plan for it. I just let it happen.
And that's what I like about you. You don't, you know what I mean? Nothing seems to be pre-rehearsed. Nothing seems to be like, I've never had a conversation where you like, there's some people, I'll be honest, I have conversations with, and I ask the question and I know what the answer is going to be. And it's very kind of stereotypical. The people that I kind of enjoy the most are people that keep me guessing a little bit and put some thought into things. You immediately went into talking about your grandmother who passed and how you promised her that you would win this trophy. Have you had it like, I mean, was that always the plan? Like, or did that just come out?
No, I mean, so as she was getting older and her health was declining, every time I saw her, I promised her, I said, I'll get you one of these before you pass. I promise. And it didn't happen. And I'm like, dadgummit. And then, she passed right before the 24 season started. And I had such a good year. I'm like, that's got to be my grandma. And every tournament since then, I'm like, okay, I want to get one for her. I got to get one for her. I promised her I'd get one. I'm going to get one for her. And she's like all I could think about today as I was out there fishing. And like I said on stage, I was idling away from that one big one I had on perspective, and it wasn't there. And I'm like, okay, Grandma, I said, if you're watching, I need a 5-pounder. That dude, 5 minutes later, 6-pounder. I'm like, okay, yeah.
You talked to her. Did you feel her out there? Like, are you that kind of person where you feel those kind of things, or?
No, I don't. Like I said, I don't try to get into that stuff. I just kind of honestly, I try to have a blank mind and just kind of fish. Just fish. Not worry about anything else. Just try to take the day as it comes. I'll say it 1,000 times. Like I said, I try to just keep an open mind and just a blank mind. I always fish the best when I'm just fishing. I'm not thinking about anything. I just, all right, let's go over here. Cool, great. Let's do it.
And I don't know if your grandmother was buried or what. Are you going to bring this to whatever area memorializes her?
Yep, it'll be going to her gravesite, and we'll have a nice little chat about it.
It's pretty cool to be able to do that. I mean, I believe that in that situation, people they get a great view of what you did. What do you think your grandmother would say to you if she was here today?
She'd just tell me how proud she was of me. That's all she'd say. That's all she'd have to say.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Dude, you are a original. You are so different than the human I first met. Like when I look back at we and Kyle joked about that on live, but I look back at I met you. You were on stage, getting a boat, shaking like a leaf, literally this bright-eyed kid. But you've evolved so many times. But what I appreciate about you is you're real. You're a genuine article. I mean, you won't even commit to like, I'm going to be here 10 years and I'm going to have 10 more. You hope, but you're very realistic because it's all hopes. But no matter what happens in your future, you're a freaking Bassmaster Elite Series champion, and nobody can ever take that away from you.
Never take it from me. Never in a million years, buddy. They can try to discredit me and do whatever they want, but I got the trophies, so joke's on them.
I hear you say things like that. Do they motivate you?
Absolutely, they motivate me.
The doubters.
Absolutely. I want to prove them wrong every single day. The more doubters, the better for me. I love it. Keep telling me I can't do it. I promise you I'll do it.
Why? Why will you do it?
I'm determined to do it.
It's not going to stop.
There's no other. The way I think about it, there's no other option. Say I do something. Okay, I'll do it. Just wait. Might take me a while, but I'll get there.
What kind of celebration? I mean, once we're done and you actually finally get on the road, how do you celebrate this victory?
I just try to take it all in, dude. I haven't even thought about it. Probably gonna try to kill a turkey. That's probably how I celebrate.
Seems like a pretty good way. I mean, and ironically, me and you started off this week during Mercer in the morning where I was kind of commenting because you were head to toe in camo, still got camo on your head, camo on your gloves. And you said, my mind's on hunting. At the time, I had no idea your mind was hunting that bad boy, but you got it. Nobody's ever taken it away from you, dude. And I was proud to stand beside you when you did it, man.
I appreciate it, dude. It's a pleasure to share the stage with you. Something I'll never take for granted. That's for sure.
Freaking Elite Series champion, Jacob Foutz. Bad Mamma Jamma, man. You dominated this one. Congrats, dude.
Thanks, dude. I appreciate it.
Oh my God.
Yeah, that really is Bob Barker's mic.
Actually, Bob Barker's.
Yeah, got it off eBay.
Damn. It's a nice piece of memorabilia.
It is. Nice piece of memorabilia is being the first to ever win freaking.
That is. You're right. That's even better. That's better than Bob Barker's mic.
How was it?
It was awesome. It was awesome. So I want to say this though. It's like a full circle thing, because when we talked on on your show, you called us up. I remember. So I just got back from Paris. I was delirious. Dude, I closed my eyes and visualized like how fun this would be to have this format again, do a Thursday nighter. And then to do it with Drew was freaking awesome, dude. It was better than what I thought it was going to be when we were talking on your podcast. It really was. The whole time, dude, I'm nervous, I'm shaking, I'm excited, I'm, happy, I'm netting and calling, and dude, it just felt right. You know what I mean? Like it felt right. And I hope this isn't a one and done. Like legitimately, I hope they do more of these. Why not have a team series with 50 guys? Oh. Why not why not come out with some of these where everybody can experience it? I love the format. I love the concept. It was awesome.
What about you, Drew?
Yeah, for sure. I thought we always have preconceived notions, and I thought they would be laying on the bank everywhere. And that was going to be the deal. But it actually had a little bit of a twist. It was a little bit of a grinder. And kind of brought me back to the start. And I talked to my wife on the little drive back over here. This has got me back having fun again. I mean, honestly, like you kind of get in the rhythm of, monotonous. Now, don't get me wrong. We had the best job in the world. Yeah. I love what I do. It's great. But, when you're practicing for 3 days straight by yourself and you fishing for 2 or 3 days straight by yourself, and you don't have that hype man like Mike Iaconelli in the boat with me. Flavor Flav! Yeah, boy! I mean, it kind of becomes, repetitious, and you just kind of go through the motions. Kind of not really go through the motions, but you feel like mentally you're going through the motions. And this was just a refreshing, kind of blast from the past, and it was awesome.
I would agree. It had something that has been not in the, not that the elites isn't exciting, but it definitely had an element to it that was fun. And, like you're competing against 100 other guys. So it's more cutthroat. There's an element of, I gotta do that. And tonight it was like a little bit more laid back, fun. And then when you had that team element, it was the deal, dude.
You know what else was cool? The little crowd that showed up.
That was awesome.
Tuesday night. Just like Tuesday night weigh-ins, all the people from the neighborhood and everything ride golf carts down to check out the fish and the weigh-in. That was exactly how it is back at Deer Point at my home lake when we have Tuesday night tournaments.
Tuesday nighters, you get the little local crowd that comes.
Yeah, everybody's checking things out. It was
cool.
It was awesome.
Super cool. Yeah.
Ben, you're fishing with freaking Mike Iaconelli. I mean, let's be honest. He's a bass fishing Hall of Famer. It's his final season. Did you ever look over your shoulder and be like, it's freaking Ike?
Sure. Yeah. Well, just like, when we did our little interview, we got in, when I heard him on one knee back there, big one. I'm like, this is freaking Iaconelli. Like, I've got to net his fish, It was awesome. I mean, just like we said originally, he's brought it his whole career. You watch clips, the never give up clip, the clip where he gets a fish hung in a brush pile and it kicks his graph and he's like, I hate life, whatever. Beep, beep. And it like comes out and he lands it. The one where he breaks the line. I mean, there's so many clips where he's just high energy and brought it to the sport. And that's what a lot of his fans and a lot of the fans that have come to fishing because of that energy. To be able to share a boat with that was pretty special.
Feelings mutual. And like I said, you get to get in the boat with someone you've been competing against your whole life. And now you're getting to fish as a team. So We've never fished together day one. So to do it like tonight in this fashion was super, super cool. And I said this on live, but like, Drew, I don't think you know this because you were focused. Like you were trying to figure out and read that fish. But dude, I throw that wacky rig out there, and then I would watch what you were doing because I want to learn too. You know what I mean? Like, and now I'm in the boat with one of the best sight fishermen in the world. And I'm like, ooh, what's he throwing? Oh, I see what he's doing. Oh, he's shaking that hard. I don't do, you know what I mean? Like, so there was that element, and I like that a lot. Like you don't have that in regular elites, you know? So the element of learning, the element of camaraderie, it was all there tonight.
Watching you two compete, you were almost the perfect team where you weren't both trying to bed fish. You were like, that's, I mean, how many seminars have you, that's what you, it was stereotypical. Was that planned out, or did that just naturally kind of happen?
So back originally when I found out we were fishing together, I looked at this tournament. I'm like, there's going to be bedfish. And, you know, so in practice, what I tried to do is I didn't necessarily try to find bedfish, but I tried to figure out ways I could catch fish behind Drew. And that to me, honestly, I said this before, but it did bring me back to my roots as a co-angler. And that's fun. Like as fun as Drew was having targeting that fish, I'm stuck. And I only got this much bank to throw at. And it was fun to try to figure out how to make some fish bite in a not great scenario, you know? And I've had so many co-anglers, oh, damn it, I drew a freaking sight fisherman, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, dude, just go fish. Just grab a spinning rod and go fish. And it was fun to me to try to help tonight. That was my key thing, right? In a team event, you don't need two superstars. You don't need two superstars, right? You need a forward. You need a defenseman. Tonight, I was the defenseman. I let Drew be the forward. And that was so freaking cool. And that is teamwork. And that's what you have to do in a team event. So I had a lot of fun from the back of the boat. Like if we ever fish together again, I have to be the co-angler. I have to be the co-angler. I don't ever want to run the boat with Drew. I want to be in the back, you know?
Speaking of that, I mean, let's just speak it into existence. If you ask me, no different than the Classic, right? Freaking defending champions need to come back.
Hey, we said that.
Yeah.
Your team's got it. You got to be the only set team going in this, right?
I would agree, right?
I think we need to have a chance to defend our title for sure. If it happens again, we want in.
Yes.
Any lake, anywhere.
That's
anytime.
right. Yeah. A mud puddle, river, lake, anything. We're in. Yeah.
What'd you learn from Mike tonight?
Just how efficient he is. And by that, I mean from every small detail, whether it be I'm sight fishing, he's getting different angles, different casts on, you know, the banks he can fish, or the dock he can fish, or the laydown he can fish. And then even when we're moving spots, okay, I'm down there getting everything in gear. He's still got a line out. He's sitting down, and I noticed that.
That was such a funny moment. He
is still fishing till the end. And we fished. We thought we had it won, and we fished until the last second. Yeah. And that's a testament to the way he's been. I've watched him his whole career. It's the way he's been his whole career, and it's pretty cool to witness that and see just how efficient you are.
That's awesome.
Yeah. What'd you learn from Drew?
Well, I mean, just the sight fishing game. And the big one that stuck out with me is there were several fish today that I would have just left. I would have left. You know, Drew wasn't really seeing them, not sure if he's there. And I would have just peeled out of there and left and reposition the boat, sort of get a little bit better eye on him. And the other thing I learned is how much I'm missing. And so he's got great sunglasses. That helps. But he definitely has an eye for fish behavior and fish movement. And that was really fun to watch that, because he would you would sort of like learn the personality of that fish. And that first bed fish was different than the second one. And the second one was different than the third one. And that's something I thought to myself, I do a bad job of that when I'm sight fishing. So, you know, again, I got to be in the classroom tonight, and, you know, maybe in the next tournament, maybe at Murray, something I learned tonight from Drew will help me catch a couple more fish.
There's only one thing you haven't won in fishing. I joked with you about it, and that's a college title.
That's
if
right.
You're going to retire next year. We have a reality show. Ike goes back to college just to win the title.
Definitely. Listen, but Becky's grilling me about, she's like, well, you're bringing city limits back, and oh yeah, we're gonna do more with the Ike Foundation, but we need something else. This is the idea. Dave, if you want in on it, if you want to be the producer or something, or if you want to financially get in on it.
I'm not about that.
Not about that. Okay. We got Louis Stout back here. Louis, you want in on it? No, Louis doesn't want in on it either, but
you guys got a bunch of cash.
I like
Yeah, it's right there. Whole wad.
Grab that wad. Grab that wad.
It's a giant wad. Look at this thing.
Look at the size of Iaconelli's wad.
Yeah. And this is like a bass fishing drug deal gone bad. Look, it's even in a Ziploc. It's in a baggie here.
Good thing you didn't get pulled over on the way.
I know. Look at that. And it says right there with a Sharpie, it says first place. And I'm very, very proud of that. But yeah, I'll go back to college, Dave. Come on, let's do it.
Let's go.
Let's go.
But when they pulled out the cash, I don't know about you, but I mean, I heard it was $5,000. Kind of, you're so used to, but when you see 5,000, and not that you've never seen 5,000, it is a different motivation, isn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, when Z was out there and sort of pumping us up at the meeting, and you look at it, and it did bring me back to like the Thursday nighters that I fished. I fished Thursday nighters, but you would always like in your mind, you'd be like, all right, there's 15 boats tonight. Everybody put $100 in. You're like, oh damn, we can win $1,000, $1,500. Come on, let's go. And you get pumped up. So it is part of the allure of the Thursday nighter, Tuesday nighters, and so it's awesome. It's awesome to see it.
One last topic I want to talk about this shortened time. I'm always a weirdo that's always thought shorter tournament, because you don't want to miss any of it. Like in an 8-hour day, you can check it. There's no other sport that's 8 hours.
Yeah.
What was that like it freaking passes fast.
It does. It does. And I'm a guy that lets things happen, especially in sight fishing. You kind of got to let things kind of be patient and let things happen. And you could not do that. Like we had to get going, get them to bite quick. And like you took a lot of pressure off by getting those bites early out of the back of the boat. And had he not, I probably would not have been as patient, it probably would have messed up our whole game plan.
Right.
So it was just awesome to get things going and get things started off at a fast pace and get that momentum going. Momentum's so huge in fishing. It's so huge in every sport.
Yeah.
But in a 3-hour derby, it's magnified times 10. And just starting in the right place, we were idling out. We were just talking about how important it is to start on the right place in a tournament, much less a 3-hour tournament. And I think this format with this shortened time just makes things so much more intense. Yeah. And it's a different level for sure.
100%. I agree with that. I think the shorter day heightens everything. You have to be more accurate. You have to be more on. You have to be more precise. So everything we do in the Elite Series, it was like magnified times 2. And I hope that came through, to people in the video, in the live, because I felt it, right? I felt, you feel the pressure of a regular 8-hour day, but tonight, dude, it was burning. You could feel the burn,
I look back there and Ike's culling and a Tuesday nighter shaking.
I was shaking. Oh, dude, I was so nervous. And, even netting, netting in the act of culling, literally shaking because I know how critical it is to make the right net, to make the right call. Like everything has to be perfect. And, we won by less than a pound. So everything was perfect.
It was awesome to see. Whether we do more of these or not, I'm sure we will. You guys won the first one. Reaction. I mean, in a world, let's be honest, where people bitch about everything, literally everything, whether it's forward facing, whether it's no matter what you do.
Yeah.
And it's not just fishing, but that's our world we live in.
Yeah.
All I saw on the internet was people, like at one point during the show, I asked chat, because I was responding to the chat a lot. I'm like, let us know what other ideas you'd like to add to this.
Yeah.
And I was blown away by it was very few ideas. People were like, this is perfect. Just more of this.
Yeah.
What is the response? I mean, we literally haven't, and we're going to finish this because you guys haven't eaten or anything. and we might.
I got
have
wine.
a beverage.
I got cheap wine right here.
I
Yeah.
would like something other.
Okay.
But real quickly, what has the reaction been? Like, you've literally just driven to the boat ramp to hear it. Your phones. What kind of feedback have you gotten?
It was crazy. So, but on the way in, I said this, but a couple weeks ago on the Tom Bigby, had a good tournament, had a top 10 tournament, and I probably had 6 or 7 people message me like, "Good job." And I finally found my phone. I actually lost my phone in Drew's boat for a little while. I found my phone and I looked at it on the way here. I got like 30 messages from people, not just congratulating us on the win, but saying, "Dude, this is a badass concept." And so, that to me, I think the proof is in the pudding. Like, people like it. I liked it. So there needs to be more.
Yeah.
There needs to be more.
Yeah, the same. I mean, I didn't have quite 30, but I probably had at least 15 positive text messages about, "Hey, this has got to keep going. This is awesome. This is what we've been missing in fishing.
Yeah.
We'll watch this."
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
How the tournament director do?
Tournament director did a great job. The tournament director was phenomenal.
Get in there.
Come on.
Very reminiscent of Ray Scott, Trip Weldon days, professional.
It's my boys. Y'all take care of yourself. Don't split spending in one place.
There they are, your inaugural Tuesday night.
Yes.
The team of Benton Ike. Bar is open. As Zona alluded to earlier, I got to get back to my other work, but I couldn't let you guys down. Always a little hump for your hump day. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe. Do all those things that help stroke the algorithm. And hey, remember, everybody is fighting a battle. Just because you can't see it doesn't mean it's not happening. Be kind, spread happiness, and get out there and have a great week, humpers. Until next time, enjoy being. And as always, Bob Cobb, take it away.
Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, because Bob Cobb of the Bassmasters told you to. You hear?